I think it is since 1970-72, that's when I had known Maxine. Maxine Burson was a kind of a friend who was teaching Marathi. Often I have felt that Maxine has done something that people like me or people who think they are doing something in education should have done. I was so moved by her work that I decided I would try and help her in whichever little way I would. She just saw that children were happy. And I think even today, in Pragat Shikshan Sanstha's Balwadi and in the schools, children are happy. And that is what matters most in education, I feel.
Fulton is a medium-sized town set in a semi-arid region of western Maharashtra. The town was formerly the capital of a princely state whose history goes back to the 13th century. In 1966, an American woman scholar arrived in Fulton. Attracted by India since her high school days, she came to this country and made it her own. With determination and untiring efforts, she built an education society based on the principle that all children from Dalit to elite have the right to have good education. An education that fosters their spirit and gives them a chance to dream. Her name is Maxine Burson, now commonly known as Maxine Maushi.
I was born in Escanaba, Michigan, a small town in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, way up in the woods. It's a very beautiful but rather economically depressed area. And the interesting thing about Escanaba is, despite the fact that it's very small, since it's a port city, it really has a very cosmopolitan atmosphere. We have people from Croatians, Finns, Norwegians, Germans, French, and many other countries. So we had a sense of a wider world. My father was an immigrant from Norway, and my mother's parents were immigrants from Finland. And my father was a laborer on the ore docks. And we lived in a rather tough part of town. It was known as North Town. But the school I went to had children from all walks of life. Children of doctors, lawyers, contractors. So it was a very democratic setup, and I think the school gave me a great deal. I think I was always interested in other countries, even from my childhood, but a very decisive thing happened when I was in the 11th grade. Our school had arranged an adult education lecture series on the United States and world affairs, and I decided to attend. The speakers talked about various countries, but one man named John Muir, a journalist, talked about his travels in India in 1950, just 2 years after independence. And he talked about India, how India was developing through democracy in contrast to China, which had taken the communist way. And I thought this was the most significant thing I'd ever heard, and I decided that someday I wanted to go there and see this experiment firsthand.
Maxine did her MA in Columbia University and started working as an instructor in the same university to earn enough money to buy herself a ticket to India. While teaching at Columbia University, Maxine met Leela Gurgunta, who promised to get her a job at Vivekvardhini College in Hyderabad. That is how Maxine first came to India. Shri Satawalekar, who was the principal of Vivekvardhini College, decided to have Maxine stay with them. With the Satawalekars, Maxine found a home and loving parents in India. So much so that she was homesick for India when she went back to America for further studies.
Maxine met my mother, Iravati Karve, in the University of Pennsylvania, where she was teaching a course. And Maxine was doing work on her PhD, and her PhD was on dialects of Marathi. So my mother had already done a social survey of the town of Fulton, and she felt that Maxine could use that same sample and do her study. So she recommended that she come to Fulton. So Maxine came to Fulton and she did her work here and then met all of us and decided to settle here. So that is how she came to stay here.
I had come to Fulton in 1966, and by 72, I suddenly realized that somewhere along the line in my mind I had made a decision that this is where I wanted to stay permanently. So to make it official, I applied for Indian citizenship. One of the reasons for this is I decided if I wanted to stay here, I wanted to be able to fully participate in the society. It took another 8 years for the citizenship actually to come through, but it was a very important step in my life.
During her PhD work, Maxine met some children by the roadside. She asked them, "Would you like to learn to read and write?" They said yes, and they started to go to her house to learn.
For the first week, the kids were coming to my house in Lakshmi Nagar and just sat in my living room while I taught them. After a while, I thought this really wasn't a very good idea, and it would be much better if I found out where they lived. And I inquired and discovered that they all lived in Mangalwarpet and belonged to the Dalit Buddhist community. And most of them lived behind the ice factory, which I discovered later was the poorest section even of Mangalwarpet. And a woman named Akka Sheikh said she would let us have a cot. Us means my friend Vasanti Dandikar and I. Let us to have a cot to sit on, and the kids would sit on the ground in front of us, and we could teach them. So we continued this way for about 3 months until it started to rain. Fulton doesn't have much rain, but it has a lot of mud, and so it was very difficult. And we had to stop the classes for a while. And finally somebody told us that there was a dharmashala available in Mangalwarpet that we might be able to use. And when I looked at it, my heart sank, because there was literally dirt 4 inches thick on the walls. But the municipality agreed to let us have it and to use it, and they spent 3,000 rupees to fix it up. And in December of 1978, we moved into the center, what we call the Apli Shala Center. In addition to that, though, there was chaos. I don't think I've ever had so much fun in my life, and kids would yell and scream, but they were fantastically full of life, and we had a great deal of fun. And by that time I had hired a number of people to help. So it became a little more like a proper center, if not a regular school. But the idea at the beginning was simply to be an alternative program, to help the kids who are not in school to become literate. But there was one boy who was quite young and very bright. So I said, well, maybe he should be in school, because my linguistic research had shown that children who had gone to school or had a lot to do with people of other castes spoke in a different way, in such a way that they could not be recognized as so-called lower caste. So I put Sujit in school. But after that, other parents wanted their children to be in school also. And I thought this really made a lot of sense. So I started viewing our program not as an alternative to the regular system, but as a supplementary one that helped the kids enter the mainstream and succeed there.
Along with the Balwadis and supplementary classes, a sewing and literacy class for women was also started, and it still continues. Today, Apli Shala has 2 Balwadis and supplementary classes from Standard 1 to 7. The Pragat Shikshan Sanstha has extended the sphere to its work by forming women's self-help groups. Years ago, a birth and death registration center was started because the need was felt.
Since 78, from 78 until 84, actually even 85, I had been working in Aplishala and also doing my other linguistic research and work like in teaching materials. And from time to time people would say, why don't you start a full-time school? And I said, no, I have my hands full here. And I'm not really interested in education for the elite. But gradually I began to realize that not only the poor, but other children also needed a good education. And the decision finally came to a crisis when, with Samira.
When Samira, my granddaughter, refused to go to any school in Phaltan, my husband Von Nimkar asked Maxine if she would start a new school with his financial help. This was the beginning of Kamla Nimkar Balbhavan.
The seed, almost casually planted by Samira, grew year by year into a complete school. With classes from pre-primary to standard 10. In memory of the pioneering work of Kamlabai Nimkar in the field of education, the school was given the name Kamla Nimkar Balabhavan, popularly known as KNB. As soon as you enter the premises of KNB, you sense that this is a different kind of school. KNB is a microcosm of our society, with children deliberately chosen from all walks of life. The pedagogy of KNB is firmly based on the principle that children learn best by doing.
तर आपण ही जीवनसत्व आपल्याला कशा कशातून मिळतात हे बघितलं. आणि ही जीवनसत्व आपल्याला उद्या मिळवण्यासाठी आपण उद्या गाजर, पालक, पपई, पालेभाज्या, मोड आलेली कडधान्य आणि सगळी फळं यांची कोशिंबीर करणारे.
मराठी विषय शिकवताना पाठ केवळ वाचून शिकवणं आणि अर्थ स्पष्ट करणं म्हणजे मुलांना अतिशय कंटाळवाणी आणि रटाळ होतं. त्यासाठी मराठीत जेव्हा जेव्हा पाठांमध्ये नाट्यीकरणाची संधी असेल त्यावेळी त्याचं संवादामध्ये रूपांतर करून मुलांना जर बोलायची संधी मिळाली तर पाठ कंटाळवाणा पण होत नाही, मुलांना समजायलाही सोपं जातं आणि नाट्यीकरणातून सगळी मुलं एकत्रित त्याच्यामध्ये सहभागी केली जातात.
For over a decade, the students at KNB have been doing an annual project. The subject of the project is generally about some aspect of Fulton, like the history of Fulton or the industries in Fulton. While working on the project, the children get a chance to go around, see things, talk to people, and collect information from government offices. This gives them a sense of grounding of study and reality. As a government recognized school, KNB follows prescribed syllabus, but with a great deal of enrichment.
मुलांनो, हा जो साप आहे हा तस्कर जातीचा आहे, हा बिनविषारी आहे. त्यामुळे चावलं तरी आपल्याला काही त्याचं विष वगैरे बाधत नाही.
Environment education is a key focus. During the Ganesh festival, KNB students work hard to create awareness about the water pollution caused by immersion of idols and garlands in the canal. Many individuals and groups turn over their idols to the students. From the start, art activities have had a central place in KNB.
Yeah.
grant from the India Foundation for Arts in 1999 enabled KNB to make further strides in arts education. The ancient saying, "A sound mind in a sound body," has always been important in KNB. Along with other sports and games, yoga and Mallakhamb hold a place of pride in the physical education program. The unique feature of the KNB program is the emphasis on the work experience. They have an arrangement with some local goat and poultry farms and a nursery where the 8th standard students go to work for a week. They have to work from 9 to 5. Apart from the actual work, they also get a lot of information.
Now you see that we've used the spoke shave to shape the bottom part of it, and we'll have to do a little bit more shaping.
KNB also arranged to teach some of the children carpentry. A 2-year training program in printing technology introduces the children to the real world of work.
Library has a very important place in Kamlaninkar Bal Bhavan. Today we have some 4,000 books, 100 video cassettes and 125 audio cassettes. What is important in a library is not the number of books but the way it is used. In our school, the children come to the library, browse around and select their own books. We have one library period per week from standard 1 to 10. During this period, children come to the library, borrow books, draw pictures, tell stories, read books, listen to cassettes, or solve the quiz questions given on the blackboard. And in older classes, they write book reviews too.
थकबाकीत 50% सवलत. नागपूर तारीख 17. वीज बिलाची थकबाकी असणाऱ्या शेतकऱ्यांना मूळ बिलाच्या.
Perhaps the greatest success of KNB is that it has succeeded in a remarkable way in developing both children as well as teachers.
एकट्याने जर अभ्यास केला तर विद्यार्थ्यांची प्रगती हवी एवढी मिळत नाही, पण जर तोच अभ्यास गटागटाने केला तर त्यांची जी प्रगती आहे ती नक्कीच जास्त होते. केवळ अभ्यासातच प्रगती होते असं नाहीये, तर त्यांच्यामध्ये सांघिक भावना तसंच इतरांना मदत करण्याची जी प्रवृत्ती आहे ती वाढीस लागते.
Among the teachers, perhaps the most outstanding example is Datta Ahivale, a born teacher, a gifted artist, and a committed Dalit activist. Datta sir grew and flourished in the Pragat Shikshan Sanstha and has gone beyond it.
मॅक्सिन मावशींबरोबर काम करताना त्यांचं कार्य, त्यांची समाजाच्या प्रती असलेली तळमळ बघून मला सुद्धा वाटलं की या भागामध्ये मॅक्सिन मावशी ज्या भागामध्ये काम करतात त्या भागामध्ये आणखी शैक्षणिक काम करण्याची गरज आहे. त्यामुळेच त्यांच्याकडून प्रेरणा घेऊनच या ठिकाणी मी प्रबुद्ध विद्याभवन ही शाळा सुरू केली.
I have always advocated public education, so in a sense, even starting a private school was a contradiction in terms. I started it because I felt it was necessary, but at the same time, I decided that from the very beginning that this school should not be just a beautiful oasis in an educational desert, but should be a center for improving other schools in the community, particularly government schools.
आपण वाचन प्रकल्पामध्ये आता 8 शाळा आपण घेतलेल्या आहेत. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण ही पुस्तिका आपण वाचवायची वापरतो.
One aspect of the outreach program is the Reading Improvement Project, which facilitates early reading by using the special reading method developed by Pragat Shikshan Sanstha. The second aspect is the mobile slide library, started with the help of the Center for Learning Resources, Pune. The third aspect is the hands-on science program, in which Pragat Shikshan Sanstha staffers regularly visit government schools to conduct science fairs. Children are also given interesting books on science to read at the time of science fairs. The three components of Pragat Shikshan Sanstha, Apli Shala, Kamla Ninkar Balabhavan, and educational outreach are trying to make education a happy experience for many children in and around Fulton. Here, the children are happy, and that is what matters most in education.